Welcome to A Gram of Hope. I'm your host, Jerome Graham. On today's episode, we're speaking with Sarina, Choksey, and Oliver Kiehl. Now, those names may not resonate with you right now, but remember this podcast and write those names someplace where you can go back in about 5 years and look them up, because these two young people will have made great strides in the medical professions. At least I hope they will, because as of today, they have a strong seed that's planted. They're part of what we call Universal Health Aid. And that's a program that when I became familiar with it, I was excited because I've never heard any young people doing what they do. And this program allows them to pursue the area of free health. That is, the health fairs that happen around town, somebody's got to do the work. And if we can get our young people acclimated to doing it right now, oh, the future is going to be bright. Good morning, folks. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Yeah. All right. Now, Sarina.
Yes.
Let's talk about your school. You're at Notre Dame.
Yes, Notre Dame Academy. I'm a rising senior, and I've been there since 7th grade. So it's my last year. I'm excited to move on, but I've also learned a lot from Notre Dame, and I'm very grateful for everyone that's been there with me and taught me. So,
you know, with that type of personality, I'm sure they'll be sorry to see you leave. Or what? In high school now, do you guys choose disciplines as to what you want to do in high school, or you can lean towards college prep, or is it just basic academic courses that will prepare you for something generic in college?
yeah, so at Notre Dame specifically, we do have flexibility to choose our own schedules. We obviously have our core classes that are required, but we have anywhere from college prep classes to honors, AP, IB. So you can really choose, you can range in what difficulty and kind of facilitate that towards what you want to do in your future. Me personally, I am interested in sciences, so I took a lot of the science classes at Notre Dame, and I like to experiment with some of our IB classes, which is something unique to Notre Dame that we offer, International Baccalaureate. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's...
I have this morning.
Yeah, it's kind of like AP, but it's a 2-year course, and it's more discussion-based and project-based as opposed to like memorizing and test-taking. So,
all right.
yeah.
I'm impressed. Mr. Kiehl,
Yes.
talk about Maumee Valley.
Yeah, Maumee Valley is similar in a lot of ways to Notre Dame. It is technically a college prep school, but we don't necessarily choose a specific specialty we want to focus on. There's no programs like that. But we can, like at Notre Dame, choose our own schedule for the most part, aside from the freshman necessary classes. But yeah, I mean, like Sarina, I've chosen a lot of science-based classes. We do only have APs, but as a starting point, I would say our classes are pretty rigorous. And so in that way, they sort of prepare you in a sort of liberal arts school of thinking.
Now, you guys, are you both rising seniors?
Yes.
Explain rising senior to me. What makes one a rising senior as opposed to the run-of-the-mill senior?
So a rising senior is basically someone who's completed all their junior classwork but is in the summer between junior and senior year. So as soon as you step into school, your first day of senior year, you're a senior, but until that day, you're just rising.
Oh, you guys wear senior very well. We're expecting great things from you. Now, Universal Health Aid. How did you become familiar with that program, and talk a little bit about what Universal Health Aid is?
I was a core team member of Universal Health Aid when I was in 7th grade. It was during the COVID year, 2021, which was their last health screening. And I heard about it through one of my friends who was a director. She was kind of looking for recruitment, and so I just decided, you know what, I'll join. It's something that I'm kind of interested in. And I was part of the community outreach team, and I just helped plan different community outreach events towards the big screening that they were going to have in July. And since then, after it stopped, it's kind of been in the back of my mind because it hasn't resurrected ever since COVID. But yeah, then this year I decided, I just remembered about it. I was like, you know what, maybe this is something I should take on because I'm still passionate about it, but maybe as a director this time.
So you both are directors.
Yes.
Yes.
Youngest
Co-directors.
directors I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
But, you say that you had a passion for this type of thing. And Kyle, were you exposed to it as well? Mr. Kiehl, were you exposed to it as well your freshman year?
Actually, I had never done anything like this until the summer of my sophomore year. I went on a trip to Peru, actually, to do something very similar to what we're going to be doing, or to what we do at UHA this summer. But I did a little mobile health screening, and I just remember there was this one moment where there was this little girl, and she was just adorable, but she was wheezing really badly, and the doctor said she had some sort of like lung infection, fungal infection, and I just remember we were able to give her medicine that would ultimately, I think, save her life, and that was something that really, I think, sparked a passion in me for especially focusing on the medical field. Before that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then my college counselor, who is actually the one I have outside of school, just mentioned this to me, and I was like, well, I really want to be able to impact someone's life like that.
So how long is this Universal Health Aid? And I like that name because it reminds me of something that was around when I was in high school. We had Farm Aid, and we had, I forgot what Michael Jackson's thing was, but it was another something aid that was universal around the world, and they raised money. So I like the spirit of Universal Health Aid. But how long has this been around as a thing?
So in Toledo specifically, this started in 2014, was their first main event. But yeah, they really just saw that there wasn't a lot of student involvement in sort of bridging the gap between healthcare for, people of many means and fewer means. So I don't remember exactly who started it, but I know that it started from some doctor's basement. They were just working out of there, sending emails, trying to recruit people, and yeah, it's just been going ever since.
So you guys took a hiatus, took a break during COVID, which everybody did. Everyone wanted to continue to do something, but it was so difficult, and then the law said you had to shut things down. So are you guys excited about getting the program going again?
Yeah, we are so excited about this. We decided to take kind of a different spin on this year's screening. In the past, it's been usually pretty medically based, with just the doctors and the different treatments they've had. But this year, we kind of wanted to expand it to, obviously, we'll still have our doctors and our health care providers there, but we also have included lots more resource tables for people if they want to learn more about health insurance, or if they want to get involved in other organizations that could help them. We also are offering haircuts there, and we have lots of free gifts for people, free doTERRA prescription bags, menstrual product bags, lots of different gift cards for things in the community. So we just wanted to make it more diverse in that aspect so that it was more approachable and free for everybody, and not strictly just medical, which it has been in the past.
How do you choose the venue? Because I think as of this year, and this is an annual event, right?
Yes.
This year you were looking at Wayman Palmer, but how do you choose what venue you're going to use to put the event on? I mean, do people campaign because they've heard of Universal Health Aid and they say, we want to help these young folks out, come to our backyard, or how's that decision made?
Honestly, we've had the connection with Wayman Palmer for forever now. I mean, we've always done it there, and so that choice was pretty obvious this year when we were looking to revive it. We reached out to them, and they were happy to help. So,
well, now you guys are seniors, right? Rising seniors.
yes.
Yes. Graduates.
2025. Do you
yes.
come back and do it again, or do you pass the torch to someone that you've groomed to be able to take over? I mean, you are directors. So
Yeah.
directors got to move on.
Right. So yeah, typically the directors are rising seniors. I mean, they've been younger or older in the past. So after this, yeah, we will be passing the torch to somebody probably on our team that will keep this going. And yeah, usually it's a high school student that directs it. So yeah.
Okay. And the main programs, the initiative that drives the spirit of this, what is that about? Because you can help somebody and feel good, but that goes away. That dissipates pretty quickly. So have you guys thought about outcomes?
Usually, what we're looking to do is provide just basic sort of screenings, try to figure out anything that's obviously wrong or something that could be improved, and then we refer the patient to whatever sort of outside resource they could use to better their lives markedly for a significant amount of time afterwards.
Now, this is is this the 9th one or is this the 10th one that's coming up?
This will be our 9th one.
All right. In 9 years, have you, and you guys are pretty, how old are you, Mr. Kiehl?
I am 17.
All right. And you, Miss Choksey?
17 as well.
All right. So you guys have not lived a whole lot of life.
No.
Now, somebody listening to this 10 years from now may say, wow, they were young. But in the time that you've been involved, have you seen anything that caused you to say, wow, we are making a difference? Had we not been here, that person's blood pressure would have went through the roof, or that person just dropped down on the floor. Somebody needs to that's me that needs to do something. Yeah, have you seen anything that has just made you say this program really is a super program?
Personally, I have not, especially because this is my first year, seeing a screening and directing it. But just because of I've been getting some phone calls from our flyers, and I think just the fact that people are willing to reach out and call me because they see this need and they see how important this health screening is and how maybe in parts of Toledo they don't have things like this and this is so unique. I think just getting those phone calls and that reaffirmation of, this is something that people are actually interested in and are excited about. I think that really kind of just reaffirms to me that what we're doing is going to help people and that people are excited and interested about it. So
now the program started, if I heard you right, Mr. Kiehl, out of somebody's basement, and now you're doing a much larger venue, but you're doing haircuts. Anything else that's new to the program that you guys, that's happened under your watch? Because somebody's going to come behind you. And when they come behind you, they're going to look and say, wow, did you see what Sarina and Oliver did? We got to beat that. We got to take this thing to a whole nother level. And I don't know where we will be in, it was 2024, so I don't know where we'll be in 2030. But I've got to believe that based upon what I'm seeing with AI and all of the other innovations that are taking place that are just now launching, that there's going to be something so unique out there. So what has happened since you guys have been involved that's so unique in contrast to what has happened in the past?
All right. So in the past, it's been more or less strictly medical. And I think this year we've done an excellent job of involving the community in a way that we haven't really involved it before. At our screening, there's going to be a lot more resources that are free for the patient to take home. And we're including, I think, more tables than I've seen in any of the past screenings. And we're just going to have so many more resources for the people coming to sort of explore and learn about the Toledo community. And it's so that's something really unique about us this year. And I think that it's definitely something that people should use as a template for future years.
You know, I'm looking at your sheet of things that you're doing, and I'm seeing therapy dogs. That's something that's different from a lot of health fairs, and I've been involved in quite a few of them down through the years. Have you had therapy dogs before? And what do you think the response will be? And what type of therapy? Are we talking about seeing eye dogs? Are we talking about dogs that help with mental situations, that help calm your nerves? When you say therapy dogs, what are you guys seeing there?
Yeah, so one of our mental health resource tables actually offered to bring a therapy dog. So we are so grateful for that. It's something different that we've never done before. But yeah, like you mentioned, it'll be more towards the mental health side. So just something to calm people down, something exciting that'll make people happy. You know, who doesn't like dogs? Like dogs are just so exciting and happy and fun. So yeah, that's something new that we're adding this year, but we are so grateful that one of the mental health resources reached out and decided that maybe we should have
I'm
that.
looking forward to seeing that. And I got to tell you, I went to one health fair and they had a therapy goat.
Oh, wow.
And now I don't know what is on the horizon, but the folks that come behind you might start looking towards goats and turtles. People carry a lot of things on the plane nowadays that said that this is my support animal and I need my owl to help me make this flight. So, now, and you mentioned mental health.
Yes.
You guys are coming up at a time where there's so much emphasis on mental health challenges.
Right.
In the short 4 years that you guys have been in school, have you seen a difference in how people deal with the stresses of going to school, the stresses of dealing with life? Because a lot of stuff that happens in the school happens outside the school and is brought in. What are you guys seeing?
For me and my experience, I think that a lot of the stress stems from sort of online and being online and just how so much of our life is online and we know so much about so many things around the world. We just feel a lot of pressure. Something I've seen actually, which is kind of counter to what the media would say, but I think I've seen a lot more people recently just kind of putting down their phones, taking a moment to maybe take a walk outside or just, taking care of themselves, connecting with the world, staying grounded. And that's one practice for sure that I've seen more recently in high school students.
Yeah, I think our generation is doing a really good job with kind of talking more about mental health and breaking the stigma a bit. I think especially, like I said, in our generation, it's something that's being more talked about and resources are becoming more available, but it is something that we do struggle with, and I think it's important to recognize that there are so many resources available. You just have to reach out and ask for them.
See, we didn't have a whole lot of resources when I and Mr. Chris came along. Our resources were get someplace and sit down. Or one that was real popular was go clean up your room. Those were our resources. And then they came out with a video game called Pong. And when Pong came out, we thought that was the greatest thing. You could sit there for hours on end and play Pong. And you had to sit there for hours on end because Pong was a very slow game. Now you guys have video games where you can fly planes. You can play with 35 people at one time.
Yeah.
You have so many things you can play on your cell phone. What we had was a Princess phone with a very long cord to it. And for us, that was exciting because now you can go outside and you can talk on the phone with this 35-foot cord. But you guys are untethered.
Yeah.
Now, above you, there are doctors that you work with. Can you guys talk about that a little bit? What type of doctors do they come to the school and say, this week we're meeting at Notre Dame, next week or next month we're meeting at Maumee Valley? What do the doctors bring in terms of guidance to the program?
So the doctors are actually usually not the ones delivering the guidance. We're reaching out to them. We're saying, hey, we have this opportunity. Are you interested? And then we give them the materials for what's going to happen at the screening. Much of the guidance actually comes from past directors. We have a chapter supervisor who used to be the director, and she especially has been really helpful in sort of understanding a lot of the logistics, like what kind of forms we're going to be giving and sort of how past setups have worked so that we can optimize our sort of venue to be exactly what we need it to be.
So you're working with somebody that is not that far removed from where you are as a director. That's phenomenal.
So UHA, this is like a Toledo chapter that we're part of, but there are chapters, I think there's 6 other chapters all across the Midwest. And so there is like the national team, which is kind of like the CEO and executive directors of all of UHA. So we've been in contact with the CEO for just our Toledo chapter, just to help us a bit.
You know, we've been talking about the event that's coming up, and it's your biggest event. This is the one that you put everything into. So what we need is for people, especially everyone that's listening across the world, to know when this event is happening and what's all taking place, because you gave a lot of information. Your social media, you have social media websites, right?
Yes. We can best be contacted on our Instagram at UHA Toledo, or on Facebook, just search UHA Toledo. And then as for our event, we are holding it on Saturday, July 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Wayman Palmer YMCA downtown Toledo.
All right. That's fantastic. I am thoroughly impressed. Like I said, when I first was exposed to this program, I said, I got to talk to these folks. I got to find out what's going on and what they're all about. But, you know, look, we're running a little bit behind on time, but I'd like to continue this conversation into the next program. And I want you to talk about where you guys intend to go after you graduate, because people will want to know, if you're involved in such an innovative program, what are you going to do with your life when this program is all and you graduated? So can you guys come back and we can continue this conversation into the next program?
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank Sarina Choksey and Oliver Kiehl. Oliver from Maumee Valley and Sarina from Notre Dame. They've been outstanding guests, and we look forward to letting everyone know what they plan to do. I'm your host and producer, Jerome Graham. Our executive producer is Mr. Chris Piper. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to listen again, go to wgte.org/hope or wherever you stream your podcast.
WGTE. Voices around us.
WGTE is supported in part by the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated by the City of Toledo and the Lucas County Commissioners and administered by the Arts Commission.